Good morning, good morning. I just realized I forgot to set up the camera the right way before we got started, but it's okay. We're here, we've got it. Just when I say the right way, I just mean like already set up so that when I exit solo screen, I jump down to here. That's what didn't happen ahead of time. But happy Tuesday, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We had kind of a late night, so if I sound like a guy today, sorry. Oh, it never seems to fail that you stay up late. I'm just not as young as I used to be. I used to be able to stay up all night and be just fine. Well, not just fine, but you know what I mean. So, how is everybody? I see that we have Lois and Brandy, Kimberly, Charlie, Rosanna, Helen B, Kendra. Rosanna, how are you feeling, my lady? You doing good? Rosanna had surgery yesterday morning. For those of you who don't know, I believe she had her knee replaced. Morning, Jenny. Morning, Helen, or afternoon to you. So for those of you guys who don't know, my name is Heather Aston, and this is my channel, TT's Trinkets and Treasures. I make jewelry, I macrame, have thought about doing a crochet number once or twice, but it's not something I've done as of yet. But I'm up bright and early because Randee from Thunder Host Descendants made the crazy decision to put me in charge for a week and have me fill in for her. So let's just hope that I don't let her down and that the wheels aren't completely off the wagon when she comes back. I am hoping so, although I'm looking around right now for my large hole pearls and I don't see them, and I kind of sort of needed them. It's okay. Oh, they're right here in front of me. They're there. Right in front of my face. So, oh, good. You're able to eat. Your hamstring is too tight. Okay. She said she just finished her breakfast. For those of you listening, she's doing pretty good. She just finished her breakfast. The doctor has been in and says things look good, though the hamstring is too tight. So, I know some of you guys, thanks, Rosanna. I know that some of you guys are just listen because you're at work. Pesky jobs. Things we do for beads, lady. Am I right? So what I thought I would do today was I thought I would show you how to use some of the things that came in your scoops that maybe you aren't quite sure what to do with, don't have enough for a full project, aren't sure what to do with it. So I thought we could go over that today. I have a few ideas. We're mostly going to be working with the large hole beads, but there may be some that aren't actually a large enough hole to slide leather through. That happens to me all the time. I'll be like fully convinced that, oh, that's a big enough hole, and it really wasn't. So, but I have a few things up my sleeve for what we could do. So I'm going to have to go off screen for 1 second, but I'll be right back. There we go. Okay, so I pulled out a number of the large hole ceramic beads. This one may not be big enough, although its pair is. Well, there we go. Or there were some of these. I think these are just glass beads. I think you guys call them India glass. If anybody knows what that means, I would appreciate if you could explain, because people say that term and I don't know what that term means. And then I have some sea glass over here. There are a few, oh, Quinn. There are a few large whole silver pearls I have right here. I also have some natural ones up here. I pulled out these really cool metal spacers that will be awesome for a kid's design. Sorry, she's pregnant and she is. And there's a reason why it's called that. Exactly. Oh, she said there's a joke when you're young and all nighter means you're up partying. When you're older, an all nighter means you didn't have to get up to go potty. Exactly. Oh my goodness. And then we have like I even was going to do a little kids design with this little floral butter. I can't decide if it's supposed to be a flower but only has 4 petals or if it's supposed to be a butterfly and it lost the rest of its body. I can't decide. I looked at this for like 5 minutes the other day trying to figure out exactly what it was. So I think the first thing that I want to show you is how to maybe use some of these larger large hole beads, large hole beads, because these are easy peasy, you guys. Literally the easiest thing that you can do with them is use up some scrap leather. Say you cut way too much for a project. All the time. I do it all the time. I'm raising my hand for those. This one is even better. Though this one it would just depend on which size you want, but you could always put cord ends on it. Oh, we got about 8 inches here. You can either put cord ends on it and add chain up around the back. You can just not do knots and just like use something to hold it in place. Those little silicone tube beads that I have work really well. You can use knot ends and just put it. Well, it depends on the knot end. Let's be real. Some of them have a larger hole that you can like go up through, and then you can just flat crimp or just flat crimp at the end of the leather to hold it in place. So yes, it's okay. India glass is made in India and has a powder in the middle. Okay. Yes, 6mm crimp covers work well. Absolutely. Especially if you're not using them for anything else. They make great spacers too. I have some of those right here as well for that very purpose. Oh, okay. I digress because I have to show you the cutest thing for bead storage ever, guys. I have one more size coming in, but look it. I have them, well, they will be in all different sizes. But they're all little glass jars. Ramsey, please stop. He's leaving for work. Komate. But then they have little corks. So I only let myself order so many of these and to see how I would stick to it because we go through storage ideas and then we see something somebody else is doing and we're like, oh, that's a great idea. Let me dive in head first. Well, that was me. So now I'm going slower. I still have a lot of the little like art dot things, so I will be using those as well. They won't all be the little glass jars, but I'm excited for them. Anyways, yes, as Rosanna was saying, you can use the larger flat crimps. See, I picked up the jar and forgot what I was, the crimp covers. So yes, you can Also, for those of you who may or may not have seen the video, you can get these up to 8mm. So if that's the case, you can actually enclose the little silicone things inside of a knot cover and disguise that is the only thing that you want to. Yes, me too, Kimberly. I have screw-on lids as well. That, yes, it was working good, but I wanted cute. So, you can go ahead and use the knot covers over the top of these. You just need a larger one if you're making an adjustable knot. Like, you have to get like an 8, maybe even 10mm to go on the back if you want it to go over the silicone donut bead and still be functional, because I can fit this size over the top of one of the silicone O beads and crimp it closed, but you can't slide through it. But the silicone does help protect the leather against the sharper bits of the metal. So it's kind of a catch-22 and completely depends on what it is that you're going to want to do with it in the end. So, like I said, there are some really simple things. You can, let's say you just want to do this and you're going to put cord ends on the back and put a clasp on it. So this one is still 7.5 inches, but even if you had half this, you have enough to make a bracelet. And here, I will show you. Although I'm sure many of you know, just in case someone comes across this later that doesn't know, we'll start with a short bracelet or a short piece of scrap leather. Let me get some of this off the screen so we don't go in and out of focus. Okay. So all you would need to do is put your, actually, let's start with the O beads first. You don't have to use a little pair of pliers to open them all the time, but I find that it is A, faster, and B, goes on a little bit easier. Now, this is only 1.5mm leather, so the silicone, Heather, you're ridiculous. The silicone isn't going to hold this in place as well. But like the ladies were just saying, you could also use a crimp cover over the top. I thought this was thicker leather than what it is. Hold on a second. Here we go. That was only 1.5mm. And you wouldn't think that 0.5mm has that much of a difference, but it does. But this could be really cute for one of the littles in your life, because you can put these up even if you're still going to do a knot, you can, or use the 8-inch piece of leather, do a barrel knot, which I know I have out because I double checked. There it is. You don't have to leave very much if you're just going to put in a knot cover. Do a double barrel knot. I'll show how to do it on the other side. Sorry. We'll also be doing quite a few of these today, so I can show you. And then put the 2 bead back on, just like that. Do a double barrel knot on the other side. So you're just going to put the 2 bead about where you're going, where you want the knot to end up. You're going to come around and underneath the bead tube, go around once, and then going towards your left hand, you're going to go around a second time. If you prefer a traditional barrel knot, you're just going to wrap it one more time than this. Now, because this large hole bead is a large hole bead, I couldn't get as close as I would like, but just finagle a little bit. And again, with these double barrel knots, this is the side most people like. I prefer the back because it looks like an X on either side. So you have two completely different looks. My daughter likes this side. She says it looks more feminine. Jason, her hubby, likes this side. So it just depends. And then all you're going to do is take some cordons. You would glue them in here. Then you're going to add some chain and a clasp, and you're good to go. Now, I don't think that any of these were in scoops because they are like trade beads, but I want to show you whenever I use something like this, I always go around it, and like one of these had a burr up on this part of it that I had to take off. And then I will just go over the ends of where my leather is going to go through, just enough to knock down any hot spots like that, just so that as you're wearing it, this looks okay. It's not creating friction on your on the leather you're putting this on. But here, let's go ahead and use the 1.5 inch leather. I also recommend that you use a thinner leather than you may even need, because of the fact that it if I did a 2mm, there would be more hot spots. I'm just gonna clip this on. Okay, so I want to leave at least 4 inches so that I can make this one adjustable. So I'm just going to take my barrel knot tube, put it up against the one piece of leather, go under and around one more time, going towards your left hand. And then I did not think this through. How many people are laughing at me right now? I did not think that through. And actually, you know what? I wanted to do a triple on this one. That was just... Did I mention it's a lot earlier here than it is where Randee lives? Oh, goodness. There we go. And on this, I was actually thinking that it would look really pretty to put a large hole pearl. And I'm just going to do a double barrel knot now, which is just once, twice, in through the back of the tube. And when I say the back of the tube, I mean the one that's closest to your left hand. I'm only saying that for in case there's anybody that's left-handed. I want them to know so they can just... So you would need to reverse that, obviously. Okay, and then we put the brass bead on. Nope. Okay, let's go through the other side. The other side, it went right on. Don't you just love a hollow bead? But I saw these and I just thought that they would be Ramsey. No. I don't know what it is about that walker, because she doesn't do that with my walker. She obviously knows who my son is. She adores him, but it's just the sound of the walker. Hey. Oh my goodness. You're all about to get kicked out. Please stop. And then I'm just going to put the leather through the other large hole. What's a Kendra? This one is 1.5 millimeter. Originally I had 2 millimeter pulled out. Like for this one, this was 2 millimeter. But, and then we're just going to take the knot again, or the tube again, and go around once, twice, and I did third on the outside of the other side of the bracelet. So I'm going to do that again. I like to do that to kind of differentiate from like these ones are basically your spacer bead. But then you've got that. You're just going to put it on the silicone tube beads, which I'll show again. But I think it looks really nice. I kind of like, just like I love the contrast between like just leather and pearls, because one is traditionally masculine, one is traditionally feminine. So I like doing that. Much like this is a little bit more raw and it's not perfectly formed. It's not silk knots, which are beautiful, but in this case, I like the way that it sits, and it's like just the perfect length when you add the two pearls on. Hello. On either side. And I just had an idea that I may have to try. I bought 4 of these. You could wire wrap a gemstone in these openings. There's 3 total. You could totally wire wrap a gemstone in there. Or another crystal, whichever. And of course, I immediately want to grab wire and do that, but I want to get through my other ideas as well. So just in case you guys haven't seen us do this, I'm going to grab some black ones because I don't want to waste this bracelet. I'm not going to take it apart when I'm done. And you guys have seen that I have the clear. Okay, we'll do one at a time. Thank you. I have clear ones too that you can also use that would look just fine. But I like the darker ones. I'm going to try to find some brown ones before the end of the week so that and if I do, obviously I will share the link. Okay, so we're gonna pull this down. Then we're gonna get this one back up in. It's less of a contrast to have the black on the brown than it is the or there's less contrast. The clear is more noticeable, but you could also use the baby pink. It just depends on the look that you're trying to achieve in the end. And then all you will do is you'll just create 2 knots. You want to pull this as much as you can to make sure it goes over your hand. It does. So now I can tie, I'll probably just do an overhand knot on the end of this just to make sure. And then I'm going to get my cord about level so I can pull it straight down, see where the other one ends. And I'm going to cut off the excess now instead of trying to figure out if they're the same size after I've knotted one, which you guys have seen me do. You could also put a pearl on the end right here and tie a knot underneath it. You can use a much longer piece of leather and do a knot and then the pearl and then another knot. So, all right, Randee, have a good day. Oh, hi, Linda. Hi, Chris. Has to run and jump up my walker whenever I get up to. Yeah. Pets are like that. I don't have cats, but whenever I go visit my sister, her cat like stakes claim on the walker whenever it's not in use. Okay. Just a quick little overhand knot. I don't think any of these knots need to be reinforced with glue, but if it makes you feel better to do so, by all means do. Also, in case you haven't seen, I don't like to use Sharpie to mask the raw end of the leather. I live in Arizona and I made my son a bracelet, and during the summer, the Sharpie came off onto his wrist. So I just take my thread burner and just lightly tap the end. I like to say that I'm tanning it, not burning it. Because if you do this, if like you just hold it down, it gets crispy. So do that, and the raw end of the leather now matches the leather itself. You see, that was quick and easy. And then I have some, I wanted to try, I'm hoping that leather fits through these because I got quite a few of these and I think they're really cute. And this could be a very quick and easy little knotted bracelet. Maybe instead of like alternating a pearl after every one, you only use a pearl in the middle. And this one is a larger pearl, so you could, obviously, it could be the like center stone of it. But if you're just looking for an easy bracelet, say your daughter has been invited to a birthday party last minute, you don't have time to run to the store to grab a gift, but you need something. And maybe you don't know the size of the little girl's wrist, whatever. These come in very handy. They also just match this, which I just noticed. So, actually, this isn't going to be a long enough piece. I can tell just by looking at it. If I wanted, yeah, let's do black on this one. So, black. So, I am notorious for overcutting supplies. And I understand, so this is 30 inches that I'm about to cut. And I understand that some see that as wasteful, but let me tell you guys, I will know the proper length at the end of this and can let you know. If us as content creators were to cut it and it's the wrong size, it's too small, we then have to cut it up, take it apart, and cut another piece. So cutting a little bit longer of a piece in the beginning actually isn't as wasteful as many of you will think. Plus, by the end of this, you're going to know the length that you need based on my completed project. So it's good. Sparklies, I can send you some links. They have them on Amazon. They have a whole bunch of different ones. Like these are what are known as European large hole beads. These fit on 3mm leather. I'm going to demonstrate something with that. Or if you just do a search for two like large hole bead, 2mm bead hole, whatever, you're going to be good to go. Now, if your this is your first leather project and you're not quite sure if your leather runs a little thinner or a little thicker, I always recommend going up half a millimeter. So instead of getting a 2 millimeter hole on a bead, go ahead and get a 2.5 millimeter hole. It's just better to err on the side of caution, and it's half a millimeter. So it's not going to be as noticeable. Goodness. Okay, so with this, I'm going to start with a button because buttons are your friend when it comes to making adjustable. Yes, I have pink silicone sliders, but they're not the right shade. If they were in the same color family, I would totally do it, but they're not. Oh, the dark ones actually go really well with it. Okay, well, never mind. We don't need to do a button clasp. We can just do an adjustable one altogether. So even for littles, you're gonna want to leave at least 4 inches to crisscross against the back, especially because you need to have room for your knot. And if you're wanting to put a knot on either side of the bead, then you need to take that into account and do even more. Oh, good. You have some of those? Yeah, the European large hole beads are good. And a lot of ceramic beads are large hole beads because they have to put the stick in, and then when it's being fired or drying, the hole does get a little bit bigger, so it works out. So just to be absolutely sure, I'm going to go to the 5-inch mark. Let me get the ruler off of the mat so that it's not trying to zoom in on the numbers. And again, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go up and underneath once, twice, 3 times towards my left hand side. If I'm going to do multiple knots, I prefer to I do the 3-wrap barrel knot, the traditional barrel knot size. You're just going to kind of tug and pull, guys. But you want to be careful because you don't want to pull this way too far and then lose the length that you need to make it adjustable. Though, if that happens to you, put some cordons on the end. It's less waste. Yes, you may have to cut off leather here, but it's less waste than undoing the whole project. So that's what I like to do. So there's little 3-wrap barrel knot. Then I'm just going to slide one of these pink glass beads down like so. And now I'm going to do just a double wrap. So just up and under once, up and under a second time, making sure that you're going towards your hand. If you let this cross over, the knot will come undone when you go to pull it through. Then you're going to go in the back of the tube. You're going to pull it through. And then once you put a bead on, you need to make sure that you can get close enough to that bead. So I like to do what I call walking the knot, which is just like pushing this up, then pushing this up. And I'm not pressing my nail into the leather because that would leave marks and everything else. So I'm using my nail to push the knot where I need to be, but I'm not actually like pressing into the leather itself. Then we'll do another pink bead. Pull it down into place. You could also put a silver spacer ball right here if you wanted to mix it up a little bit, or if you were wanting even just a little bit more of an adult vibe, which I would wear this. Why not? It's fun. It's cute. It's pink, it would make me happy and giggle anytime I look down at it because I am an adult. So it works out. You also can forego all of these middle knots. If you want, you can just alternate this with another color. You can alternate it with the silver spacer beads that have a large enough hole to go through. You don't have to do a knot after each bead because the knots do take up a chunk of leather every time you do it. So I'm just going to do another knot. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out how Kelly Sutton from Kelly's Bead Boutique, Kellies. So I'm going to show you how I walk it a little bit more. I was really far away. I might have to undo this knot because that's quite a walk. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. Make sure that it looks right. But I could never figure out why I could not get the leather. I would have to switch hands in order to be able to do it. And then I realized I was using the shiny leather. And that's why my knots weren't staying and why it was more difficult to go towards the left-hand side. It's because it slides on the metal and then the knot doesn't like to stay where it's supposed to. So just make sure that that's all. You can also walk the knot before you tighten up, but that would be very difficult for me to show you. I figured out how to do a barrel knot so that I could show you the knot between my fingers, because a lot of the time this is what it looks like. They're like, oh, I can't show you the knot because so I taught myself to do it so that I can show what the knot looks like. Okay, and then if this is for a little, but yeah, I did that specifically. So I'm just going to slide the ceramic through because obviously if this one is for a little, the top of their wrist is going to be much smaller than mine is. So I have a little neighbor girl that lives down the street that loves dress up. So I'm just going to do another knot here. Again, a double one. See, this is going to be the hardest part if you try to use a bigger bead like this. This one will most definitely have to be walked down towards the bead. So I'm going to try to show that a little bit better. So I'm going to leave it very large. The only thing you want to do as you're walking your knot down is you want to make sure that the first strand stays the first strand. Otherwise, it's not going to look right no matter what you do. And it's simply because, oh my gosh, what was I saying? I don't like. This is a moment where we say hashtag damn Durkums. I don't even remember. I was saying, I'm sorry. I hate when that happens. Ugh. I don't know what I was saying. It's okay. Morning, Tammy. I didn't see you for a second. And then we're going to do one more. I didn't know this about walker noises until my son. She doesn't ever do this with my walker, but mine has 4 wheels. So she's blind also. So I wonder if at some point in her life. Hey, no. Cooper, no. Okay, so then we are now done. You're going to want to kind of push your knots around. Also, I like the center one to be a little bit tighter, especially if it is a larger hole. That way it the knot can kind of slide into place and keep it from moving around as much. And then all I'm going to do is grab my center bead, pull down. I'm going to cut the same length on the other side. And then I'm going to grab the 2 dark pink silicone bracelets. And you can even just use a variety of these as a quick and easy little birthday present for one of your child's friends. Last minute birthday party. Oh, wait, I'm not going to stretch that yet. Go ahead and put them up. Big thing you have to be careful when you use these is that you don't slide the other piece out when you don't let this part fall out while you're getting the other piece in. And because this is straightening out where it is, and I'm gonna do a double wrap. I'm trying to decide, do I want to put a bead on? I think it's a little bit too big. I think the hole is a little bit too big for my taste for doing that. And I'm going to pull this down so that I have enough to do the larger barrel knot rather than an overhand, but this will slide back out. You don't use all of the leather necessary to wind around. Once you tighten it, you'll see that it's a lot less leather than you thought you were using. So we're just going to go around once, around twice. And then if we have to, we will walk the knot in the opposite way. But I like to try to just bring it down. I may have let these holes a little bit. Nope, I got it. Okay, good. Have a little bit more of a tail than I would like. So I'm going to try just walking it down a little bit more. There we go. Other side. Once, twice. I was actually shocked when I was looking up wrist sizes for for little kids when I was researching for bracelets that I wanted to make for her, that their size starts at almost, he's leaving, guys, stop. Their wrist size, it's starts at 4 inches, even as little ones. Hi, Marika. Hi, Kathy. Because I would have thought that they had their wrists were tinier than that, but they're not. I'm just gonna cut the very end off. And then these ends you will want to glue. And I use GS Hypo, and I like to put the needle inside the knot itself. And then I'm just going to tan the ends. I like to do this before I put glue on just because most glues are flammable. And while this isn't an open flame, I just like to err on the side of caution. So there's another easy way to use a bead soup, to use maybe you don't have enough of one, or you don't think you have enough of a bead to create an entire project. You will be surprised. You absolutely can use materials and stretch it. Like I said, even if you only have a 4-inch piece of leather, just bead on it, do the end, and attach it to something else. Or make this the back of the bracelet. There are a lot of ways. You can also use these just as a button closure for a bracelet and attach it. I'm trying to think about how they do that. I'm trying to think now. I think that they just use a jump ring to attach it and then use the end of the leather. But yes. Desert Rose Beads and Baubles. Hello, good morning. You are a new name to me, so that welcome. Oh, aw, thank you, Kathy. That was sweet. Okay. Let me see. I have these dark blue glass beads. I have 3 of them. And I was thinking that if they're big enough to go on 3mm leather, that was my initial desire, was to see if these will go on 3mm leather, and they will. So this is another really good way to show you. You can either macrame around them. You can use the little silicone tubes to hold the beads in place. If you only had like an 8-inch piece of leather, um, this gives you the option and the ability to make a bracelet out of it. There are a multitude of different kinds of cord ends that you can buy, guys, and they're amazing. These ones actually fit 5mm leather. So I have found it harder to find the smaller end caps than I have the larger ones. The standard end caps for leather seems to be 3 inches, which great, but I wish that we had more options, more decorative ones in the smaller ones. So what I'm going to go ahead and just cut. I'm going to go ahead and do 8 inches because we are going to add cord ends at the end. That was kind of silly to say it that way. Cord ends at the end. Yeah, that's where they go. That's why it's in the name. Oh, you guys can also use metal spacer beads. That thought did not occur to me until it was time to start. So I'm going to grab a couple more of our silicone beads. Ooh, wait, I can use the dark blue. Oh. You can even use these as spacers. I've done a couple of bracelets over the last couple of days on my channel that are like simple, easy peasy ones where I did in fact use these and some twisted jump rings that I made and used as spacers. I just twisted some copper wire, cut it into jump rings, and then like did one of these, and then these ones are too big, but I have ones that are not too big. And then use this in the middle or on either side, and it looks really nice. I was actually very pleased with it. I think the bracelet I did that with drops later today. It's in my bag because Bernie likes me to bring down my jewelry, and then because he likes to use it as an example. But oh, come on. That's it. It will drop later. I just use bone beads and then like the twisted copper jump rings. And you can buy soldered jump rings that go all the way around, so they work really good. I'm also known as Ellen Petra Ranch, 2 channels. I make jewelry including children's pieces. New subscription. Thank you. I appreciate that. Enjoy watching others process. I do as well, Ellen. I say it all the time, but I will never tout myself or my techniques as the end all be all. I always encourage people to go and watch 2 to 3 or more people do a technique, because it's funny, because a lot of people who try to say, nope, my way is the right way, when they go through and explain it, they're actually they've combined 2 different techniques. So it's just to each their own. Everybody can do what they want to do and teach it the way they do. But I try to encourage people to go and watch a few content creators. So yeah, my names are my channel. Okay, cool. I'm gonna have to look that up. Desert Rose Beads and Baubles. I love to find new creators. It's always fun. Aw, thank you, Dorothy. Yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button, I would appreciate it. Sorry, I'm digging for jump rings. There we go. Because I'm going to close this up with the antique. I wonder, I don't know if these ones would fit on the 3-inch. This side does. So like if I were to clean up the end of this one and clean up some of that right there, even these would fit on, and again would make a very simple but beautiful centerpiece. And don't be surprised if you do not see you can tell it's from Africa. There's still the grass that they used to climb these. Be prepared to see a tutorial very soon where I have wire wrapped something in these openings, because I think that that's going to be great. Heather, I do not have classes. I learned from watching YouTube. Everything that I've learned I've learned from watching YouTube. Kelly Sutton was somebody I watched a lot because I was transferring what I knew from macrame over. I also, you guys, go and watch some macrame tutorials on how to do a barrel knot or a wrap knot or all of those knots, the alternating half hitch knot, all of that. Go and watch it on a macrame channel, because obviously the cord is going to be much bigger than just about any supplies we use for jewelry. Oh, bye, Gloria. Have a fabulous day, hon. Yes, you will get to see it on a larger scale. And so, especially when you're learning something new, I always recommend if you're new to like knotting and stuff, that's a quick and easy way to see it on a larger scale. Okay, so on this one, I'm just going to put the little black tube or the little black silicone bead. This one would almost fit inside. If I wanted to, I probably could push this inside, but I'm not going to. We're going to leave it there. And then I'm going to put another one of the silicone beads on the little O bead. Sorry if I went out of frame. And then I'm going to put one of the cobalt blue on. it actually holds the metal bead in like the center because it does nestle up. But see, if I wanted to, even I could put grab another one. Come on. There we go. Ooh, copper would look so pretty with these dark blue. But see, then you've got the greater, it's more noticeable because there's two of them. I'm trying to think, do I want to keep the second on? If I do, I only have 3 of those glass beads, so oh, why am I not using the blue? I think I'm going to use the black on the outside and then put the blue in the center. That way it kind of differentiates itself as a spacer rather than, where did I just put down my cutters? Who knows? I'm just going to cut my end at an angle so it's a little bit easier to get the tube on. Do I want to still? Okay, what do you guys think? The lighter blue or black? I think I like the lighter blue. Oh, good, Gina. I'm glad you found some. Yes, I watched. Yeah, I've learned from Rosanna too. I wish that the local stores did classes. I've looked a couple of times and my local ones don't really do it. Oh my goodness gracious. Randee. No. Her little. It's my multi-poos that start the barking every time, it seems. Okay, is that going to be enough though? Or should I put 2 in? I think I'm gonna put a second one on just because I'm not using, oh, that went over the silicone beads, but I will not be using these again because I don't like to double stretch those silicone beads because it makes them weak. And so just, it's how I do my very best to make sure that they don't break, which I don't know how they would on a wrist, but especially because this is a man's design, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Or a gender neutral design, sorry. But again, if you found some pearls that have a 3mm hole in it, swap out these. And there's nothing saying that this is a man's bracelet. I see it as gender neutral. So my husband has really been enjoying this series. He has claimed both of the turquoise pieces for himself and wears them. Bernie actually gave him a strand of, I'm not gonna be able to remember what kind of, it's a, hey, Cooper, Ramsey, stop. Anyways, if you've ever that's not a word. If you've ever purchased wood beads, especially from other countries and stuff. They come with like the little guru bead and tassels, and there was only one strand of it, and I'm not gonna be able to remember it, what kind it was. Um, and he fell in love with it, and he wears it. And so Bernie gave it to him because Steve does a lot for them. So he has become their resident handyman, and he gets paid in beads because that's what he set up, because he loves me. But yes. All right, Gina, have a great rest of your day. I'm just going to finish this up, and then I will close things out here so everybody else can get about their day. Rosanna has several, she has been recording, she recorded videos ahead. She's been recording videos, so there'll still be videos released, even though she's in the hospital still and just had surgery and shouldn't be up more than what the doctor has asked her to be. Okay, let's get these down ever so slightly. Okay, I just finished it off with another black silicone bead. And like I said, you could put as many of the blue in. I could have put a black in between the blue right there just to give it another, like, more contrast. Would have been nice. And then all I'm going to do, guys, is once I measure this, I am going to use these round bead caps, which I love to use on the 3mm leather, because you don't have to do it. So there's 6. So let's go ahead and do this at 3 1/4. So this is the center bead. I have nothing to cut off on that side. So then turn it around this way, put it in the same spot, and cut it right there. And then I like to measure the actual leather itself. Yes, 2 1/4. Make sure. Hey, Cooper! Please stop. I hope your guys' dogs aren't all going nuts. I apologize. Oh, I used silver. Why didn't I pull out silver cord ends? I don't think I was initially going to do silver. I'm assuming, otherwise I would have just pulled it out. But you still could do the antique. There's nothing wrong with like mixed metals. Pull out some of the silver beads. I hope you know that I have learned a lot from you guys, even those of you who don't have channels or content, just from pictures and stuff. I know that I've asked several people, like, well, how did you do that? And they go through and explain it to me as best as they can. And it's really cool. So with these round ones, I come from the end and just barely tuck that under, because I like to try to keep this as round as possible rather than like just squashing it flat. You can also put a dab of glue in this before you start that process, and it's on there, and I've still been able to keep it round. Oh, come on. So it's still round, but it's on there really good. So let's make sure we have, you always want to make sure that you have your end caps going in the same direction. Otherwise, See, that one went on even easier than the last. I just make really small adjustments as I go. And then you got, it may take a few more seconds, but it's going to pay off in the end when you go to sell it, because it's going to set you apart. It can set you apart from other vendors, just like adding a charm at the end of an extender chain, to which you explain that that's how they can hold it to put on their bracelet easier. Stuff like that, you guys. It's the little things like that that are going to set you apart from other vendors, especially behind that. How do you know what size and caps to use? Okay, you're just going to search for, I make sure you put this in there. You need to put in inner diameter. So if you're looking for a cord end for a 2mm leather, you need to put end cap with 2mm inner diameter, because depending upon how thick it is, you could, just like we show you guys with the bracelet mandrel, if you're using a larger bead, half of that is on the interior of your bracelet and affects the overall length of the bracelet. If you use a 10mm bead all the way down, it takes 8.5 inches to make a 7-inch bracelet. So and I don't want it to be trial and error for you guys. I can go and link these ones specific. They actually come as a kit. It's not plated metal. It's base metal, but it comes with jump rings and lobster clasps. Let me test that real quick. In multiple metals. So it has the antique bronze, brass color. It has antique copper, antique silver, and gold. Yeah, the gold is shiny. Well, this is an antique silver, but so the silver and gold. And I can put that up in Beading Besties for you guys. And then you'll know that that can be used on both 2 and 3mm leather, so that you have an idea. But like I said, I try to get my end caps like this as close to the size leather as I'm using, because when I'm closing it, it's going to look better. Especially if you're putting 2 pieces of leather down and you want to keep this round, you're going to want it to be very close. And I can easily get 2 strands of 1.5mm in here, close it up, and still get a good closure on it that doesn't look all squished. You know, I mean, I could easily, here, I'll even do it on the 2mm. I could very easily just take this and squish it down flat like that, which is what I have seen over and over and over again. It doesn't look horrible, but in my opinion, the rounded silver one looks better. It looks cleaner. It looks more polished than just this flat crimped one. This is just as secure, but the overall aesthetic of it is different. For example, I'm probably going to do these as tutorials. I hope the other one's right here. And it's not. So I will just do this really quickly and show you. And there is nothing wrong. Oh, here it is. There is nothing wrong with the first version that I'm going to show you. Please do not get me wrong. Both of these are beautiful earrings. I just prefer one over the other. So, when I first started making jewelry and was going to my first show, I wanted to have like leather and pearl. So, I made these earrings. And it is dependent upon how big of a loop you want. You don't have a lot of waste with these leather earrings. But as soon as I started learning how to knot, I wanted to increase this. I wanted to make sure I wanted it to look better. I wanted it to look more polished. So I taught myself how to do it like this using a barrel knot and doubling one of the strands of leather back on itself in order to make a loop. Both of these are very pretty earrings. These will sell for more. Every single time, these will sell for more. There's nothing wrong with these, but if you have both options in front of you, this is the one that people gravitate towards every time. So that's what I mean. Just about going like it's the little things that make a difference. Oh, thank you, Marika. I love pearls and leather. Just like I was saying with this bracelet. I like the raw brass next to a pearl. It's it just or up against the leather up against the pearl. It's one of my favorite combos that look very pretty and it goes well with others. And there's a multitude of different end caps. They have some that are just like a sleeve that fits over the end that you can use if you didn't like the raw leather at the bottom. You can buy itty bitty ones that just slide over the bottom and it's easy. You can find those same exact ones that have a little hole. And the reason for the hole is you put a head pin or a ball head pin through it. The flat or bald keeps the end cap in place, and then you can make a loop and use that to attach. So that's it works really well. And you guys know, well, I think you guys all know, but I have like a 5-second earring that I figured out how to make because my sister-in-law does not like ear wires that have like that little spring coil on it. So I literally came up with these. And depending on how big of a loop you need, I like to make the loop as short as possible or as small as possible. But you just turn that on itself. Take this pointing away from the barrel you want to wrap around. Come up and over. You have an earring hook, just like that. If you like the little kick at the end, you're just going to take your pliers and just bend it ever so slightly up. It takes seconds to do. It can be, Marika. I'm not just saying this to self-promote. We're going to have pearls on the next live sale. But if you want pearls in the meantime, let me know and I will send you links to ones that I like and would use on my own stuff that I found off of Amazon. And I bought them. They're very pretty and but I know what company I like. So I can send you a link for that. Well, guys, we're a little bit over. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. It's been not gonna lie, filling in for Randee the same time I'm doing a 28-day challenge where I release a piece of jewelry every single day has been a lot, but I'm having fun and it's showing me what I'm capable of, which is, I love all the feedback that I get from you guys. You guys are my sounding board. You guys are there when I'm unsure of something. You guys provide me with the most amazing feedback, and I appreciate that more than I could ever say. You guys are great. And so if it's something that I can do for you guys, I'll do it every time. So I love you guys. Make sure that you have an absolutely fabulous, fabulous rest of your day. Thank you, Charlie. I will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. all over again. And in the meantime, guys, happy beating.